Nazi concentration and extermination camps were state-sponsored prison camps first used during the 1930s. They were intended to be prisons to the opponents of the Nazi regime and Adolf Hitler's dictatorship. Terror had brought Hitler and the Nazi Party to power, and once in office this continued. The first Nazi concentration camp, Dachau, was established in 1933 and functioned until 1945. It was located on the grounds of an abandoned munitions factory from World War I near the town of Dachau, about 10 miles northwest of Munich, in southern Germany. The camp had a training ground for SS guards. Heinrich Himmler, the head of the SS and overseer of the concentration camps, and later the extermination camps, described the Dachau camp as the first concentration camp for political prisoners. However, this changed after Kristallnacht, when Hitler began using these prison camps to implement his racial beliefs and policies. In his book, Mein Kampf, written in 1925, Hitler divides humans into categories based on the belief of social Darwinism. According to Hitler, the Germanic man was at the top and made up the master superior race. Others were racially inferior, Untermenschen. Hitler was an advocate of the deliberate destruction of these subhumans. Hitler made the following comment to a journalist in 1922, years before he came to power. Once I really am in power, my first and foremost task will be the annihilation of the Jews. As soon as I have power to do so, I will have gallows built in rows at the Marienplatz in Munich, for example, as many as traffic allows. Then, the Jews will be hanged indiscriminately, and they will remain hanging until they stink. They will hang there as long as the principles of hygiene permit. As soon as they have been untied, the next batch will be strung up, and so on down the line until the last Jew in Munich has been exterminated. Other cities will follow suit, precisely in this fashion, until all Germany has been completely cleansed of Jews. Hitler and the Nazis intended to purify those in Germany that did not belong to the supreme Aryan race. The concentration camps held those that were viewed as inferior or were an alien threat to the supposed German elite. Gypsies, some of the Slavic people, communists, socialists, Jehovah's Witnesses, the disabled, the mentally ill, the handicapped, homosexuals, and also a large number of Jews were exterminated. During the 1930s, the rights of Jews in Germany were gradually limited, with the start of anti-Jewish policies. In 1935, the Nuremberg laws took away German citizenship from Jews. In November of 1938, Jewish businesses were banned by the government, and Jewish stores and synagogues were trashed. This was the first direct attack on Jews, which was known as Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass. The result? 25,000 Jews were killed, and 30,000 were deported to concentration camps. This was followed by the political policy called the Final Solution, which was introduced by the Nazi regime in 1942. The extermination of undesirables, primarily the European Jews, through this genocide is called the Holocaust. Those on the way to the concentration camps were taken from their homes and often separated from their families and communities. The deported prisoners on their way to the concentration camps were forced into already full trains where, under the terrible conditions in the freight cars, many died during this forced migration before ever reaching the camps. Often while on the trains, the prisoners were compelled to stand because there was so little room. In the trains, there were no washrooms, which made it necessary for those inside to urinate where they stood. Once they arrived in the camps, they were split into groups according to their strength, those who were able to work and the weak who were unable, which mostly included women, children, and the elderly. The weak were taken to the extermination camps. The most known extermination camps were Auschwitz-Birkenau and Treblinka. Once at their camps, the weak prisoners were told to take a shower. However, they were gassed with either carbon monoxide or another type of gas. After being killed by the gas, the bodies were collected and burnt in a crematorium. An interview with Nazi SS officer Franz Suchomel discussing his experience at Treblinka extermination camp. He tells of the extermination process of prisoners by exhaust fumes.
Jetzt sind immer mehr Menschen gekommen, immer mehr Menschen, die nicht getötet werden konnten. Die Herren wollten das Warschau Ghetto so schnell wie möglich räumen. Die Gaskammern haben zu wenig Kapazität gehabt. Das kleine Gas war das nicht. Treblinka war ein Dorf, ein kleines Dorf. Der Bahnhof gewann durch die Judentransporte an Bedeutung. Es kamen 30 bis 50 Waggons. Da wurden immer 10 bis 12 bis 15 Wagen aufgeteilt, nach Treblinka-Lager hineingefahren und an die Rampe gebracht. Der Rest blieb stehen, mit Leuten, am Bahnhof Treblinka. Die Fenster, die waren mit Stacheldraht verschlagen, dass niemand heraus konnte. Und auf den Dächern waren die Bluthunde, die Ukrainer oder Letten. Die Letten waren die schlechtesten. An der Rampe standen für jeden Waggon 2 Juden vom Kommando Blau bereit, damit das schnell ging. Die haben gesagt, kommt heraus, schnell, 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 schnell.